yet.
Hit the button, man. Hit the button.
Hit the button. Oh boy, PS5 loading slower than the PC. Ooh-wee. I want to make sure we're live.
I want to make sure we're live too.
Can you hear us?
I want to mention.
We like turtles.
Hang on, I do need to make sure that they can hear you say that we all like turtles, not just me. Cold Eastwood, you like turtles?
I do, and we're live.
I don't give a fuck. Do you like turtles or not?
I love them.
Can you
now
question?
Tell people hi, because it's another week from Real Deal Xbox Turtle Podcast.
Yeah, welcome to RDX, everyone.
All right. Hey, yeah, welcome to RDX. We do thank everyone that showed up, guys. We do appreciate you. And again, we got some really good topics today. Fantastic panel. And once more, I got to say it. Hit the like button, share it out. Help us get rolling as we file into some topics. Shout out some more. D-Batch. Another week, another RDX, buddy.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, man, we got some really interesting topics today. I'm sure that some people are going to be triggered, and you know what? I don't care because it's going to be a glorious podcast.
Oh my! Hey, Fonzarelli, how you been, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing good. Today we're going to be talking about the South American red-footed tortoise, and I can't wait to get into it.
Is that a real turtle?
Yes.
I actually don't really actually like turtles, just so everyone knows.
I actually know about turtles.
Oh, wow.
Real.
All right, well, we'll get into some of that at the end. He'll teach everyone how to make a turtle stew. Tim Dog, how you been?
Good. Big week. I think we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Unravel and ready to do it. I got my my vaccine today, so if I'm a little off, give me a little bit of throw a dog a bone. I mean, I feel all right. But I'm definitely not 100%.
Yeah. Well,
first
you know, even
second?
at 40%, you're at 100%, Tim Dog.
It's like 75%.
Is that your first or second shot?
I got the Johnson & Johnson. So
you got the baby powder one.
I got the fire one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me turn Tim up here on my end here. Hey, Zalker, buddy, how you been?
I'm doing good. Got baby carrots finally. I went to the grocery store, got some, so I'm ready for this podcast. We have a lot of good topics, and it's all about the loggerhead turtle. F everything else, all right? I don't want to hear it.
This alligator snapping turtle, get the fuck out, okay?
Medulla oblongata.
Sorry. Hey, this is Resident Evil 8. That's what it's called, not Village. And it's running on Series X. For some reason, tell me if you guys have experienced this, but capturing on an external capture card, footage is extremely dim. So I've had to jack up the gamma and weird contrast stuff. So it kind of looks wonky, but it's viewable as you see some glorious red lipstick right here. Worth a pretty penny to the giant guy in the bathroom or wherever the hell wherever that's at, where the trough is. So, you know, again, Series X footage. Let us know your thoughts on the game.
You just
Resident
picked up
Evil
lipstick
Village.
in the game. What are you going to do with that?
You'll see. That's the best part. And if you see me stop, right? If you see me stop and look around and shit, I hear that giant chick with her size 47, bigger than Shaq feet, just clonking around this damn house. So that's me listening and testing out some of that virtual surround crap, all that stuff. So again, fun game, having a blast with it. But again, let us know your thoughts on it as we'll get into some topics and stuff like that. I need 1 second to stall because I have to hit this tab thingy. Give a few shout outs to my Patreon shout out here. And it starts with Tony Art. Shout out to you, buddy. Ricky Falan, Johnny No Life, Destiny 2 News, Max Power Plays, Faultline Z, Fierce Fuzz, MegaLifeCBD.com, Not Silik, Alex Emery, Elk Dude, YouTube, Bad Boy Live, Achievement, Nano, Zerodin, Costanza, Wing, Scout Trooper 74, KY Bob. We've also got Wakanda XNT, Goose 8402, Straw Hat Khalifa, Assassin, Lupa Foreign Object, Gab, Queez, Teo, John Blue, Vec Boss, Deviator X. I'm going really fast. We've also got Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, Tastes Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, All Might, Gaz, Dark Sea Meth, Alfonso Hogan. I think I got them all. Really, shout out to those guys. And again, shout out to everyone watching. You guys rock. Starfield, exclusive to Xbox. Jeff Grubb said, fuck y'all. It's not coming to PlayStation. And there's so many people that are still dying on this hill. Like there's a little tiny anthill out there. And they're crawling onto it. And they're still fighting a good fight out there. He's extremely confident in this. He's doubling down on Twitter. We've heard about this long ago, behind the scenes as well. We've kind of mentioned it, but Jeff Grubb once again publicly saying this over and over and over. He's very, very adamant. And it's also a big rumor to Tom Cruise and the
Yeah, it's so random.
The Scientologists are going to be in Starfield. I don't know.
Oh, why you gotta go there, bro? Why you gotta go there?
Aliens, outer space. The big picture here, Zalker. Starfield. It's only on Xbox, not on your Ouya or your Etch-a-Sketch or your PS5. How do you feel about that?
Right? Didn't this start all because of the non-insider insider Randall Thor? Didn't he like tweet? I don't know. He's just some nobody. But he tweeted Jeff Grubb saying like, "Listen, people in Super Chat were saying that you said it wasn't exclusive," and then Jeff Grubb was like, "All right, fuck you. It's exclusive. Period. I'm confirming it here." And it was like, damn. So now everybody's like, well, it's exclusive. But you hear. The thing I saw everybody arguing about was like, well, you know, they probably started this on the PS4, and they're not going to just throw all that development away. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, you understand that they'll just move to the PC or Xbox versions just to help polish it up even more?
What do you mean?
Like,
don't you know they store
care.
everything, the source code on a PS4 or dusty ass PS4, and if that thing crashes, the whole game's gone.
I mean, if anybody, like, if Starfield's going to be like we think it's going to be a pretty good, like, hopefully a good game. It's going to be a massive game, probably one of the biggest games, you know, Bethesda has made in a long time. If you've seen what games perform on the PS4 lately, like all these other games, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some developers start pushing that away, especially after Cyberpunk and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, it's just not running that well because they have so much different animation, AI, all that stuff is advancing. And after you work on something like the next gen systems or even the Xbox One X, it's just like you can't, like, going back is just not, I don't know. Just not in it for the cards for games that are going to be coming out at the end of this year or maybe even beginning of next year.
I want to get Colt's opinion. Obviously, we'll go around a little bit here. Chad, I want to know your opinion, and we got to give a shout out to, again, the chat. Been rocking out with the show for 4 years, a lot of you guys. Pong Soul, you know, he started watching a year or two ago. You know, a tryhard fan, shout out to him. Sony guy, always in the chat. Tony Bryant, and, of course, Milo. Shout out to you, buddy. Dark CMF, Cold Eastwood's in the chat. Hey, Cold Eastwood, what do you think about the Starfield thing and Jeff Grubb and the kind of people's elbow and people on Twitter? 150 million people just got rock bottomed.
Yeah, they're really upset. One thing that people are kind of side skirting with Bethesda, they pretend like Bethesda Softworks has only made Fallout 76, and if you look back, like, yeah, like if you look back, like people like, well, I mean, don't get too excited about Starfield, even though we haven't seen anything, which is true. But they're like, you know, why be so excited? We don't even know what it is. We don't know what it's going to play like. It could be boring. It could be great. And I'm like, well, I mean, look at Bethesda's games. Like, haven't they always made really great games? Their only bad game, I think, I may be mistaken, I'll ask you guys, is Fallout 76. I think it's the only game they put out that wasn't really well received.
That wasn't really. Was that Bethesda Softworks? I don't think it was Bethesda Softworks. It was
published by Bethesda. It was Machine Games is kind of like side team mixed with who was that? Arcane. Right?
Yeah, Arcane.
Yeah, I mean they grabbed the Fallout 4 engine.
I'm thinking of Wolfenstein Youngblood, by the way. My bad.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? I don't think Machine. No, but I don't think it was the main team because the main team at Bethesda Softworks. They're the ones that made Skyrim, and then 4 or 5 years later, they brought out Fallout 4. And then now, look at the time, people. 4 or 5 years later, they're bringing out Starfield. Yeah. It's the A team that's making Starfield. It's not the same people that are making Fallout 76. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know. But I don't think it is, because for a team to make that, then Fallout 76 in 2.5 years, I don't think that's possible. I think they had other people working on it.
Fallout 76 is a multiplayer prototype from Fallout 4. And that was made by the janitors at Bethesda. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Eric Nemes, by the way, he says, hit the like button for the turtles. Shout out to you. GameBread2 says, RDX hype.
I heard Don Metric works there.
Say what?
I heard Don Metric works there as a janitor.
Don Metric moved on to Jenga, and that tower fell real quick. He flew out in a helicopter, never seen him. Bowl cut, gone. So, Fonzarelli, what are your thoughts on this? Tim Dog, what are your thoughts on this, everybody? D-Batch.
Yeah. Well, the facts are this. The facts are we do know that it's a single-player sci-fi RPG. That much we do know. And it's supposedly they're saying it's Bethesda's biggest game. And if you're a Bethesda fan, I don't see why you wouldn't be excited about the game, especially knowing that it's a single-player sci-fi RPG. That has me all in. And plus, about the whole situation with this being confirmed by Jeff Grubb that it's exclusive. I mean, we pretty much already knew that. And of course, Phil Spencer told us.
This is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
That's all we need to know.
Thanks
I mean,
for
we knew
filling us
about
up vibe
this.
like that. It was very generous of him. Very nice.
I know. I feel like he was in here with us.
It just doesn't make sense to me that people are even questioning this at this point. It's like we knew about this at the round table. It was crystal clear, people.
We were saying
like,
this before Phil came onto the show just now.
We were talking about it before, but I'm just saying, like, it was confirmed by Phil. Who else do you need it confirmed by? And then, of course, Jeff Grubb says, yeah, it's exclusive, and it's like, more people are talking about it again. And all these people that were talking about, oh, PS5's exclusive. Starfield's exclusive to PS5 a few months back. Remember that when they were talking about how they were going to get Starfield rights before they bought Bethesda and stuff? That was hilarious because those tweets are still out there. People took those receipts on so many PlayStation dudes, and they're all dancing in the street about Starfield being exclusive to PS5. Now these same cats are saying, "Oh, it's going to be trash. We don't even know about it. Why you get hyped for it? Well, you were dancing in the streets for it." So,
and they did start hating on Cyberpunk even until they found out there was a deal with Microsoft there with video marketing.
It's funny how this works, but again, this is just the.
These are the same people that said that when Deathloop got delayed, they were like, Xbox did it on purpose so they don't have a game in the summer. Sony doesn't have a game, and I'm like, are you like? I'm like, do you understand that Xbox wouldn't? Something I saw it on Twitter. I was like, I literally left, and I was like, God, this is so stupid.
Damn troglodytes.
And I'm like, come on, dude. I'm like, dude, you really think Xbox is like, you know what? We're gonna delay it so we take a longer time for you to make games for us. Like, no, they're gonna be like, no, get that shit out so you can start making games for us in Game Pass. Like, that's what they would have done, but no, they want to keep the integrity of that studio and be like, hey, man, we need some more time.
I doubt Deathloop's that banger to seal the deal. Anyway, Matthew
How
Hasler.
dare you, sir?
Matthew Hasler, shout out to him. He says, Tom Cruise is in a movie called Oblivion. Oblivion was a game from Bethesda. Illuminati confirmed. Yes, this is true. Very true. And, of course, D-Batch, brother, give me your thoughts on this. Tim, I want your thoughts as well. Go ahead.
Well, I want to know if exclusives matter or not, because apparently Xbox doesn't have any exclusives, but yet everybody is getting so upset that this is just going to be on the Xbox platform and PC. So I guess it is an exclusive, because if you don't have a PlayStation, if you don't have an Xbox, if you don't have a PC, if you're not invested in the Microsoft ecosystem, if you're not invested in Game Pass, you're not going to get to play this game. So I just want people to stop with this false narrative that Microsoft doesn't have any exclusives. They do have exclusives. Now we're starting to see the plan that they have set forward for all of these studios that they acquired. Now, I know Phil Spencer kind of said it's on a game-per-game basis, and I think some gamers took that, and myself a little bit, to say that, maybe there's going to be some titles that are going to show up on other platforms, and I think that's going to be the case, but I think that's going to be very few and far between. Especially for the blockbuster titles, I just see them being on Game Pass, being on the Xbox Series X, on the Xbox consoles, and on PC, and I think that's a really good outcome for Microsoft, because now you're going to have to invest in the system. So all you guys out there that say, oh, I don't need an Xbox, I got a PC, so I hope you have a PC so you can play these games. Yeah. And if not, you're going to have to go and pick up an Xbox Series X. So
I want to get to Tim too before we get, but you also got to point out that it's not championing exclusives. It's hey, Tencent or Amazon or Google are going to swipe these studios. I'm glad Microsoft got them, because they are going to be available in more places because of that, and I'm going to be able to keep them in my ecosystem, right? I was going to get them either way. I don't think it's a better game because of it's exclusive, but I do think that it's worth saying, hey, all these guys on Twitter, they were questioning the obvious. Phil Spencer was just in here, saying what he said. Then it's kind of common sense. So, Tim, I want you to kind of sum this up. We got a ton of great topics today, bro.
Listen. When Phil came out and said what he did, you should have saw the writing on the wall when you had a video that was made on DualShockers that said why Microsoft's exclusives will still come to PlayStation, or something exactly the opposite of what it said. It was the one that was like, it had 55 likes and literally like 15,000 dislikes.
Holy crap.
It was just such a bad take. But that just goes to show you that people have denial about this game and denial about what's going on here. The fact is that the game is super hot. Even now, hype is super high. My analytics on it, from when I started talking about it, I was reading nothing about Ratchet & Clank's previews or anything that was previously Returnal. This was the talk, and it just switched to that. And then Jeff just dropped a bomb right when you drop it, and then because the obvious was the obvious. I don't know. Jeff just, I guess it was ran show, whatever that they saw, or they kept blastering that it was going to come to PlayStation. The Jeff dropped it. Then I watched that thread on Reset Era go to 37 pages in like, like an hour and a half, and then it'll get closed because there was too many fighting. So there's a lot of denial about the game. The fact is that if you want this game, there's many accessible ways to do it. Is you can get it on your phone if you didn't even have Xbox, with Game Pass. Like Phil said, if you want it, you play it on Game Pass. That's a fair proposition. They don't have to put their games on PlayStation 5. And this is just the case that's probably going to be with a lot of Bethesda games, because the same thing's going to happen with Elder Scrolls. And that's after Starfield hits. So, because they'll be talking about Legacy and stuff like that.
Exclusive.
Like, but yeah, there it is. So, we could just take it that and move on. I mean, I'm ready to talk about something else because it is exclusive and you have to come to terms with that.
Yeah.
And it's going to Tim, it's just going to get worse. Hold on. Tim, it's just going to get worse, man. Because no matter what anybody says, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, all those games that Bethesda Softworks makes almost defines generations. Like Skyrim was amazing. It's one of my most memorable games. People on, was it IGN or Game Informer, whatever big media site, one of the guys on there even said, like, I'm actually sad that I can't play it on my PlayStation, because that's where I played them. That's where I experienced them. And it's like, now I have to go PC or Xbox to do that. And these games, like right now, it's just the beginning of that that storm. And once we get these games actually released, like when Starfield actually does come out and is exclusive, that's when it's going to get really bad on social media.
Ooh.
Well, what I was going to add to this is, isn't it sad that the hype for this game was high before Microsoft ever purchased Bethesda, and then all of a sudden, once they purchased Bethesda and these questions started arising that, these games might be exclusive, all of a sudden the game is trash, or we don't know much about it, so we shouldn't get hype, folks. When everybody was hyped beforehand.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty sad.
That's a good point.
That's a good fact right there.
Anytime Xbox puts their stamp on it, it seems like, oh, now it's trash.
Yeah.
And I think that narrative needs to change. It's ridiculous. That's such a fanboy thing to do. And I honestly, I'm tired of it. Like, I don't even look at memes anymore. I used to laugh at some of these fanboy memes and think, oh, this is funny. This is just jokes and stuff. Now it's just freaking annoying to me, because honestly, I'm in it for the games, people. I'm, wherever these games are at, I'm going to be playing them. And I just think it's hilarious that these people are still putting that narrative out there that, oh, if Xbox has anything to do with it, it's garbage.
Yeah, we don't have to focus on that a whole lot. And I want to throw it back to Cole here in a second, because, Zach, you motherfucker, you got a lot to say on this shit. Calm down, sir.
I got energy today, baby. Come on now.
Hang on. The geeky nerd said you shouldn't have to really read the writing on the wall when Phil's talking. The message should be clear. Well, you got to remember that the deal wasn't done. They were operating as two separate companies up until recently when they announced all this stuff. So they weren't able to say certain things, but we were saying that we were hearing things, and it was obvious. The chat knew. So everyone should really be able to see this stuff, unless you're just in denial. But Colt, what were you going to say when you kind of cap this off? We don't have to focus on kind of the negativity of some of the people out there, but it's up to you.
Yeah, I didn't want to either, but there are receipts that people were excited, and then when it flipped, they were like, I mean, do we really know anything about this? But Fawn said there isn't a whole bunch of hype now that Microsoft has them. Actually, what we've seen is incredible hype. Tons of articles, lots of traction on social media regarding Starfield. Like, Tim just tweets out the word Starfield and hits send, and he gains 100 followers by the end of the day. So it is a big deal, and I think people may wonder or side-eye that it's going to be on Xbox, but I think the real gaming fans understand that if Starfield looks good, they can get it on PC, they can play it on probably 2 different types of Xbox console,
xCloud,
or they can stream it. Yeah, stream it on xCloud on a different device if they absolutely have to have it. But I mean, they're just going to go buy an Xbox if they don't want to play on PC or stream it. So that's really all we have to say about it.
Well, let me get a few of these super chats here for the people here supporting the show. Going the extra mile. Shout out to you guys. Again, we'll give some more shout outs to get those in the chat, and of course the channel members and stuff like that. But Dark CMF says, if it started on PS4, it won't work on PS5. They believe in generations. And data doesn't transfer between the two systems. Fonzarelli could tell you a great story about that. Buddha Time says, We need an RDX and X&C collaboration podcast. Oh, wait, keep it up, guys. Love you guys. Thank you so much, Buddha Time. And then we've got Psychonauts. Shout out to him. He says, shout out to everyone on the panel and in the chat. Shout out to you, Psychonauts. You're awesome. And I did a show with Psychonauts. This dude's pretty knowledgeable. Loves baseball, too. And then we've got Jay Murda. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He says, please keep eyes... Hang on. Please keep egos in check. Yeah. We can all win together. So I guess so. I mean, again, if you call something, everybody in the chat, that's why I said half the chat knew it, more than half the chat knew it, and there is no Lockhart. Also,
you got to give props to the chat and our audience and some of the panel. Like we do get it right. It's pretty good group here of people that watch the show. So let's let a little ego go a little bit sometime, huh?
I just want to say that earlier when I was talking about that, I wasn't trying to be negative at all. I'm being positive, really, saying that kind of narrative needs to stop. It's ridiculous. Like and we always see that anytime Xbox says has anything to do with the game, it's automatic. Oh, that game's not going to be good.
And I like that, right? I just didn't want people dogpile on the same point because you covered it so well.
Yeah, it's just so weird to me. And we just got to continue to put it out there that this narrative will change. That they are creating games, and this whole.
Well, let me jump in on that.
One more super chat here, and then we'll let Zalker jump in. His who's that guy's name? Richard Simmons or that exercise guy with the afro?
Singlet.
I'll come back to that one. All right. Hey, Brigader's Blue. He says, want to see everyone's thoughts on Biomutant finally launching that game. What the hell is that? I've only seen CG trailers of it. Really. It's like a little rat. Cool. It's Master Shifu the game, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's a good explanation. Yeah, are you excited about it, right, Fonz?
I wouldn't say I'm hyped for it, but I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. I might pick it up if it's good.
I think it's like another one of those games that Zocker will like as well. It's they compared it to like you have Batman Arkham type combat, and you have an open world like Zelda Breath of the Wild and Devil May Cry type combo combat. And you get to craft weapons like combo weapons, but they don't break down. So you just like make them better or level them up so they do more damage. You can
sell them instead of just carrying around 40 different legendary weapons like in Valhalla.
I don't know, but it sounds like too. A lot of RPG elements as well.
Yeah, so like I was going to say for Zocker, it kind of has that open world like action thing from
Phoenix Rising,
whatever. Phoenix Rising. Yeah. So, but I mean, it kind of came out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Throw it on Game Pass." So,
Game Pass, or I'm not.
I mean, like every game coming out in June minus Ratchet and Clank is pretty much coming to Game Pass. Like I looked at, I was like, man, every game I want to play on June is just going to be on Game Pass. I'm like, cool.
When is Biomutant releasing?
This month, like I think in like a week or two.
Dang.
Or like a week.
So they finally said they went from CG trailer to it's out next week.
They've had gameplay out for a while.
Yeah,
they've had gameplay out for a while.
Just every single trailer I see, it's some kind of CG trailer.
Yep, May 25th.
Hey, also, we got to give a shout out to 1,300 plus already watching, guys. Thank you so much for showing up, supporting the show. Hit the like button if you haven't. Let's try to get closer to 1,000 for the end of the show. It really helps as we continue the next topic. We got to do this eventually. You know that, right?
It's not on Game Pass.
It's just weird that Biomutant is like flying under the radar. Like a lot of people didn't know it's coming out soon.
That's because they just announced it after 50 years of CG trailers. So
it's been held out for a while. But I was going to end that by saying I think a lot of these publishers are waiting until they go gold to announce their game.
I wish they'd wait until they have no bugs in their games. That's what I would.
Yeah.
Hey, there's also a rumor. There was a bigger. I don't remember who it was. I think Nano Polymath sent it to me. It's a bigger YouTuber. He was saying that he was hearing Starfield has been done for the most part, for the better part of since last fall, right? 2020, and that they are trying to polish this thing out like exceptionally well, like super polished for release. That's pretty much what they've been doing since then. I don't know how true that is. I'm just throwing it out there, reminding me.
Well, I actually thought about that. I actually thought about that because in like the thing everybody's talking about E3 right now and all the events that are supposed to come up in the summer. And if we remember, Bethesda didn't have anything last year, and it was because they were doing that, basically the deal with Xbox, right? So they probably didn't have an event, and then I guarantee you that Sony was probably trying to like grab Starfield as an exclusive after they did Deathloop and Ghostwire. And they were just like, you know what? No, save it for us. We'll give you more money to polish it up for the next year. Then we'll release it on Game Pass exclusive to us. That's what I think is like, that's got to be something that was probably in the deal. because Starfield's, you know, is going to be one of the biggest RPGs to come out in the last, 10 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I thought about that a little bit, and then obviously Bethesda this year is going to be with Xbox and the event for E3, and they're going to show off, 2 years worth of content they've been working on.
Ariel says it's Crossfire X full-timed exclusive, and also what is EA Motive doing? Jade Raymond was heading up EA Motive, right? And I think they shut that studio down, did they not?
Yeah, they shut that down. She was heading it, and then she went to Stadia, lol. And then Stadia died, and then now she's doing something with Sony, I think.
Haven Studios, she's opening up.
Yeah,
doing a game for Sony. So it's
Yeah,
not
doing
a first-party publisher. a developer for Sony, but it is.
Yeah, it's like a second-party deal.
Shout out to Big
yeah,
Click
exactly.
as well. Let me get this one real quick. He says, "Ascent available for pre-download right now." Shout out to you guys. Love the show. Keep it up. Thank you so much. And Viper XNT says, "What's with Sony's marketing team making these errors in the console exclusivity titles? Ratchet and Clank on PC ? Which is a fantastic segue. Oh boy, Days Gone loading way faster on PC than it is PS5. What the fuck's happening? It also looks quite a bit better, apparently. So, again, we say it every time, right? Because we always get so many guys accusing us of just hating on these games. I liked Days Gone, right? I like Spider-Man. I like God of War, one of my favorite games of all time. Said it many times. Days Gone coming to PC, just released on PC today, actually, with new global illumination system, way better textures. The load times are like twice as quick, at least, on an SSD that's not even as quick as the PS5s, right? So it's kind of weird, but then again, Days Gone on PS5.
No, is it though?
$50
Is it
on
weird?
Steam?
Because if you look at the PlayStation 4, every game that has come from the PlayStation 4 that's back compat to the PlayStation 5, it doesn't really load.
But this one
that much
got like an
faster.
update, though, unlike some of those.
Yeah, it got patched by
Yeah.
Ben. Yeah.
Yeah, Ben,
Still
that
didn't
guy, he
help.
patched it.
Ben.
maybe you have to-
Ben.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Ben.
Benjamin.
He's
Or
like the
maybe
guy
you
who
have
patched
to build it
Cornbread,
around the
Lunchbreak.
SSD. Maybe you have to build it around that SSD for some reason.
No, I mean, I
don't
want to
know.
hear dealers take a maybe D-batch on that because I won't even get into it, but the Days Gone took 33 and a half seconds to load in a level,
Gee.
and on PC it took 9 seconds.
So they must have stuck some Pringles inside the PC case, and D-Batch, how would you explain this? Why are Pringles making things faster?
How fast did it load on the PC?
9 seconds on PC, on Windows PC, and 33 and a half seconds on PS5 with a patched, not just a back compat version, it's been patched by Ben Studios to be a PS5 version. It's absolutely not even using the SSD. Like it's going around and
classroom. What are your thoughts, sir?
What was the system? What were the specs of the system?
Oh,
God
geez.
damn it, D-Batch.
D-Batch, you were the
Chosen
chosen one.
90, you know.
it was Digital Foundry, so it'd be the basic whatever they use whenever they compare PS5 and
Probably
Xbox.
3080.
So probably
Like 3090.
and they were
Probably
using an
400.
SSD, right? For sure, right?
Of course.
So I don't
Yeah, they
know.
wanted a like for like. Yeah, they're
That's-
using.
Wouldn't that be some shit if it was on a
SATA
mechanical
SSD.
drive and it was 9 seconds versus PS5?
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's even at the very least it's a SATA SSD. So
yeah.
I mean, talk about this.
It's
Can I just
don't
say,
know.
by the way, on Steam, it's $50.
Wow.
It starts off $50.
I
So
gotta
not
cap
only is it
that. Days
cheaper.
Gone on PC.
Oh, dude, I gotta not cap that. They gotta make it $20.
Maybe
That's what it's
maybe
worth.
that version of the game is about
Trash.
20 hours shorter. I would definitely like it if it was a little shorter, but I mean, it looks pretty damn good. You got to give it that, chat. Let us know your thoughts on that, chat. Another game that was never going to come to PC from Sony, first party.
I
So
have
cheaper.
to say that's up to probably optimization, man.
I don't understand.
it makes no
Think about
sense with the move.
optimization. Think about you've got faster I/O because you've got an SSD built into the system. So the data can only go through the SSD as fast as it can go. Like, how is it not using any of the solid state?
I would just say that it's down to the way they patched it. It's not a game built from the ground up for the PS5. It's not a big deal. We're it's obvious that we're kind of being exaggerative and being funny here, at least to me. So, I mean,
30
I don't think
seconds
it's a big deal. I think that the game looks great, and if you want it on PC, where it's got obviously uncapped or whatever you can afford performance and better lighting and textures and stuff like that, better loading, then that's a cool option for you. Grab it. What about Ratchet and Clank, though, D-Batch? You think Ratchet and Clank, I mean, the titles are just keep rolling out. We're hearing God of War and stuff like that's coming. I mean, Ratchet and Clank, how much longer will we have to wait for that game, D-Batch? Tell us.
Listen, you got to strike when the iron is hot, man. So I can't, like, I think Sony would like to release their games day and date on PC, to be honest with you, because it's just more money for them. I think because of the way that they're structured and they do know their fans, that they might get some pushback, and I don't think they want to experience that yet. So they're kind of warming the PlayStation guys into it, like holding their fucking hand through it. But I think eventually we're going to see
a shot.
Yeah. Can I be honest? I don't buy that. I don't think Sony gives a flying fuck about their fans and what they have to hold their hand.
Why is it
I don't think they care. I don't know, but I just don't think that's because, like, let's be real. Right after right after a show, they announce $70 games. They announce it. They don't care. Like they've dropped stuff out there. Like, yep, this is what's going on. They care about money.
I think they know what they can and can get away with their fans. Like their fans be like, oh, they got the best exclusives, so it doesn't matter if the games are $70 because they're the best exclusives. So there's certain stuff that they can get away with, and there's shit that they can't. And I'm being honest, if they release their games day and date, which will eventually happen, some of the outlets are gonna be like, oh, why are you doing this? And there's gonna be like a little mini revolt, and then of course they'll get over it and realize it doesn't matter. I can play my fucking game anyways. But I think they're just trying to wean them into it. It just makes sense from a financial standpoint to have your game on as many platforms as possible, because then you can increase your fucking revenue. And at the end of the day, these guys are in it to make money. They're not going to sit back and watch Microsoft do this and get market share, and they don't put their hand into it. So it's coming. It's inevitable. And let's just be honest. Their games on PC are going to fucking sell. Like, they're going to fucking sell. Like, we can whatever we want about Sony. Like, I don't like Sony's practices. I don't like a lot of shit that they do. But when it comes to games, and I'm a gamer, and most people listen to this podcast are gamers. When it comes to games, they make fantastic fucking games, and we cannot fucking deny that. So a lot of PC guys would love to play those games on that platform. So it makes sense for them to bring it there. Look at Halo. Look at Forza Horizon. These games that were brought over to PC, and you see the reception that PC gamers greeted these games with. So and Sony is the quote unquote king of exclusives, and they got the best games. So just imagine if their games were on the PC platform, how people would flock to it. Days Gone, a lot of people, it's a little bit of a polarized game. So some people loved it, some people hate it. I liked it, but nonetheless, it's a Sony game, and now that it's on PC, I bet you that game sells pretty good on PC.
Yeah.
Yep.
One seller when it dropped. It became the #1 sold game on Steam.
Shout out to
every game.
And I want to quickly, just because people are confused by the SSD stuff. Again, PS5 uses hardware back compat. So when you're playing a back compat game, it's trying to emulate actual physical hardware to PS4, and it's not an emulator like Xbox is. Like, run uncapped, just go. Like SSD speeds, everything, CPU speeds. So when you got a game that isn't really fully leveraging the system, you're not going to get those crazy load times, because either the CPU is downclocked or some variation is trying to mimic the original PS4 hardware it's running on, and you're just going to be bottlenecked by something. It's cool that they brought that stuff forward, but that's why the SSD is a lot slower in back compat games. I've said this before multiple times on the show and in videos for those that watch.
Just real quick, and I've said this so many times before. Microsoft is, they make hardware, they make a lot of great games, but at their core, they're a software company. And as you can see from the backwards compatibility, they got that shit down packed. Their games are running at 120 FPS with barely any work done on their part. So it's a software thing. Sony is behind on this. And it's showing through on their back compats. They can't get a lot of their games up to 120 FPS. And like Dealer said, with games that weren't designed from the ground up for the PlayStation 5, it's not going to utilize all those features. And their back compat is okay-ish. So, don't act surprised.
Yeah. Interloper says, you guys don't buy games, so why? so why would you? We would be happy because we do buy games. Got like 700 some games. But, I mean, I just feel like that's a silly comment, Interloper. I think I'm going to think of you here in a minute. I'm thinking about it.
Who does buy games is PS5 or PC gamers. Because
who?
Phase 23, Phase 23 keeps saying it's only 18,000 concurrent players on Days Gone right now. It's like, it's #1 sold right now.
Who cares?
On Steam.
You should want it to be more Phase 23.
Yeah.
You want it to fail on PC. You don't want the developer to get more money so they can invest it. Even though Sony apparently turned down a sequel for some damn reason.
I want a part 2.
Me too.
Well, because they didn't. Because I think it was the develop. I think the developer took way too long to make the game. They had way more time, and then what they got out of the investment wasn't enough. Like they put, wasn't it like 4 or 5 years development time in that?
It was a small team though.
It was
They made
about
a
100.
profit.
It was about
It wasn't
120.
It was a beta team that kind of grew a little bit, is what it was. You know, like they
I know it was a
could've
team
given
that
us-
made games for like the PS Vita or the PSP or whatever. They were doing that, and then they wanted to do more. Sony gave them a bunch of money to do it. They hired like I think like 50 more people on the team, and then they had like 4 or 5 years to build a game, and it launched. If we remember, it launched with a lot of technical problems, and it had a lot of problems that like didn't get patched for like almost a year. So like for me, from my perspective on Sony, it's like, hey man, we gave you all this money and we asked you to make a game. If they needed, like, I'm not even talking about like, oh, that's great. Like what you said, dealer, like cut 15 hours out of that game. If they did that to just like make things concise, make things priority, like it would have been a great
Deacon
game.
Goes anytime you walk
Yeah, he
near a
does.
dumpster in that game.
No, every time he walks into a bush and there's a guy like, got to kill you, and it's like, Jesus, Deacon, relax, bud.
He's talking to himself. Yeah, it reminds me of some.
Yeah, he's
radio
like
host.
talking to himself and shit. But like, I'm saying, like, I understand where Sony's coming from. Does it suck? Yeah, but I just don't think they trust the team to do anything that is going to be actually like huge, because that's what they're prioritizing is bigger games, right?
I don't pretend to know why. I think that they could just be saying that, or they could just put it off for a little bit because they know they need to remaster some stuff to fill in some gaps that COVID has created. You know, like Halo Infinite, right? Had 1,000 developers plus on it, from Turn 10 to Coalition. We've seen it on their profiles. There's guys from Coalition that have Halo Infinite on their LinkedIn now because they've been sent over to help work on that franchise because of the gaps that COVID has created. And it's very, very, very possible.
Didn't Days Gone released before COVID, I thought.
I'm talking about sequel. They know that they have gaps that need to be filled.
Okay.
So in the meantime, maybe they're putting those guys there. It doesn't really matter. Fact is, it's on PC, and it's better on PC. Go get it on PC right now.
They threw those guys at Naughty Dog, and that was the rumors that they were afraid that they were going to be swallowed up by Naughty Dog and just be a support team from now on. Like that was.
And then there's a
rumor.
remaster of a remaster from Naughty Dog. How weird.
How weird, right? And so like that's what they were afraid of turning into. There's a San Diego studio that Sony owns that helps all their studios kind of like push games across the finish line, and they thought they were going to turn into something like that.
Welcome to
Tricycle
they didn't want to
Studios.
Be that.
Well, no, like they're a talented team, and that team wanted to do something, and they got denied also.
Well, let's talk about denial. Colt Eastwood, Ratchet and Clank ray tracing controversy. What the hell's going on with 900p30 and Ratchet and Clank 720p 24 frames? No, I'm just kidding. What's going on with Ratchet and Clank? Is some of the stuff that's been revealed. Apparently, there's been some misinformation put out there by one of your guests on the show. Apparently, what is happening with that?
Yeah, that was a mess. Yeah, I guess about 9 months ago they had talked about adding a performance mode to Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and they said they were shooting for 1080p 60, but at this juncture before release, we don't know, but it's going to probably be checkerboarded, reprojected, scaled up, and dynamically scaling 1440p.
A whole lot of words.
4K,
what
something
about the
like
ray
that,
tracing?
I don't know, but I mean, Miles Morales has ray tracing at a lower resolution. It has a lower quality ray tracing in the performance mode, so the game's still going to look great. But yeah, some people were trying to use that as ammunition that, oh my gosh, PS5 has to run a game at 1080p, and like I don't know, great looking games run at 1080p all the time on great hardware. But yeah, that's kind of been the mess with that whole thing.
We said it a million times. Like, resolution is a thing of the past when it comes to somebody's upsampling techniques. You know, like that's not really the name of the game, anymore. So resolution, while it does kind of tell part of the story, especially with a Delta, but with checkerboarding, like interlacing, reprojection, the reconstruction techniques, the Fidelity FX, and all this crap, DLSS, it's almost obsolete because they can literally give you double the performance and maintain the image quality with the click of a button using these technologies. Why would you not do that? Then they can do the same thing to the ray tracing in the scene and use denoisers, etc., to make that ray tracing look better than it probably ever should at that resolution. D-Batch, Ratchet and Clank, impressive trailer. Always thought it was technically impressive. What was your thoughts when we kind of move on to
my honest to tell you, I really wanted to do a video and give my thoughts on it, and I stopped myself because I knew I would have pissed off a lot of fucking Xbox guys. Because, like, I'll be honest with you guys, like, when I saw the trailer, I was thoroughly impressed, and then I hit Twitter, and I think I put up something saying, "Oh man, wow, that's how you do it," or some shit like that. It was a great video or whatever. I was really like, it looked next generation, and I saw guys in there saying, "Oh, it doesn't look next generation," or "It looks like the previous Ratchet and Clank," and "Oh, it looks so cartoony," and all these fucking excuses. But if you're a gamer at the end of the day, I don't care. And some people are saying, "Oh, it's not my type of game." Okay, I don't care if it's your type of game or not. If you look at that game, there's no way you can say that game doesn't look next generation. It fucking does.
Yep.
It looks like a fucking like a cartoon, like a Pixar fucking movie. It looks fucking incredible. And the fact that
Jesus Christ!
Hey, for those with the children or afraid of cuss words, sorry, this is a podcast for kind of adults and stuff. So we apologize. D-Batch is real adult right now. I hear his little baby hand slapping the desk in the background and shit. D-Batch, Ratchet and Clank has really gotten it out of you today, sir. What are you thinking?
I just gotta say, the game is just fantastic. Now the 900p and all this stuff with the different resolutions in order to enable ray tracing, I'm fine with that. First of all, what we're getting out of these consoles this generation is truly amazing. But we have to be practical at the price point. We know there's going to be some compromises made. Now, the compromises on the ray tracing, I think it's fine. I think it still looks fine at a lower resolution. It's fine. And like I've always said, give us options. So you're going to have an option to not do the game at ray tracing, get your 60 FPS or whatever. You're going to have the option. So you can play it with ray tracing, all the bells and whistles. You can play it without ray tracing and get, your higher frame rate or whatever. So I think it's a perfect mix. You can choose to play the game how you like it. And to be really honest with you, I'm looking forward to this game. And just because it's not on the platform of your preference, don't dog the game. Good talent, a good game is a good game, and just acknowledge it.
Give credit where it's due, right?
Exactly.
Average Lebowski says, I don't know if you saw, that's what Dee was talking about. I guess a YouTuber made a video trying to say PS5 was better in every single way. Half his followers attacked him. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, everyone knows it's the SSD, and that's the only thing, and even that can be held up. So, again, Ratchet and Clank, always thought it looked impressive, said it in videos. And, shout out to everybody watching live, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, tell a buddy or two. All the support means the world. We're close to 1,600 people already watching, guys. You guys are amazing. Let me go back to, let's change the topic, huh? How about this, Zocker? Mind-blowing games on Game Pass. Now, apparently new IP are coming to Game Pass, and 55% of people join Game Pass for things like day and date delivery for the service.
Yep, it was what was the guy's name? Beck. He's basically one of the head people that that guy.
Black and Decker.
He basically is the lead guy that for the services at Xbox. And he said that a lot of the research they've done have like 60% of people are looking forward to basically how many games are on Game Pass. 55% really do care about the day and date. And he was talking about how many games they're developing. And he even talked about an IP. He was like, there's one IP that hasn't even been announced. It's going to blow your mind. And it's kind of like all this stuff is getting hinted for E3. I mean, and this game that they're talking about, the mind-blowing game, this has been hinted by, like, I feel a lot of people. I feel like Jez and Miles Dompierre have talked about 3 or 4 games that they said were in development that nobody knows about. One of those, I think, was the IO Interactive one, but there's other one that nobody knows about. And then if you remember, Jason Ronald talked about a game. They're like, what's your most anticipated game? I think that was on the Iron Lords podcast. And he was like, a game that hasn't been announced yet. And then now this guy's talking about a new IP that, nobody knows again. So I feel like there's something in the works that we just don't even know about that nobody does, and they've kept it really close to the vest. But yeah, that's the gist of it, and everybody's thinking that it's going to be announced at E3, and if not, maybe it's a Bethesda game that we don't even know about. I just don't know where it's going to come from. I think the Xbox Game Studio games, like Fable and all those, I think they're a little bit away. I think they're going to lean on Bethesda for a few years, if not a year and a half, and then start bringing those games out. Give those developers time to make those games.
I want to know what everyone's really thinking, Fonzarelli. What color is this vest?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Red?
That counted on
Red?
Fonz just there, and he let me down.
It wasn't red.
He's a fashion expert. Tim
It's
Dog
red.
Fonz, go ahead.
It was red. I was right. Anyway, so
New IP, Game Pass.
Game Pass. Zocker pretty much said it all there about this. I don't know what else to add to that.
All right.
Other than, people are excited for day and date games. I mean, come on. Who isn't?
It is funny.
There's not much to go off of that except that
But I thought
he's right.
day and date games devalued titles, and I thought nobody made money on this shit, and there's so many things.
Oh, you're talking. Yeah, but if you're going to get into all that,
don't go all the way in. Just 3 knuckles deep.
Yeah, but you're going into fanboy talking points.
You want
and
to talk
stuff.
some shit? Call me,
Yeah,
bitch.
yeah. You're getting into that kind of stuff, and if you're going to that level, it's like, man, yeah, you can
Come
sit
on,
here and
come on,
talk forever
Fonz.
about these.
I
frauds.
know you got some rage built up.
No, I don't got rage, but I'm just saying,
me.
like, oh man, call me at
Call me,
1-800
bitch.
talk trash.
Oh,
Nah, it's just crazy though that I don't see why. It's one of those things where I say all the time, if PlayStation had a service like this, day and date titles, they would be praising it. They would be in the streets dancing, just like they did with Starfield. When they thought that was going to be exclusive to the PS5.
Can they at this
They'd be
point
doing
though?
the
Because
moonwalking
I know I'm kind
out
of like
there on
contradicting
Twitter.
myself because I was like, no, let's not talk about it. But this is a serious question.
You did a backflip right back
I'm
into this.
backpedaling hard right now. I got like giant.
Yeah,
front,
you are.
I got giant front delts right now. Can they even backpedal on this? Be honest, like seriously, because they say day and date's bad. I don't understand why, and then it happens. Let's just.
Well,
imagine
it's
this.
because they look at it like, okay, so you're not buying traditionally. You're not going out there and spending $60. Oh, excuse me, $70 for those guys. You're not going out there and spending all your hard-earned cash on each game, which has to mean that the developer isn't getting money somehow.
You got to wake up real early in the morning to challenge me on this one.
They totally overlook the fact that the developers are getting paid before it goes into Game Pass. This is all accepted. Like, it's not like they're held under gunpoint saying, bitch, you're going to Game Pass. No, it doesn't happen that way.
They just look up at Jim Ryan and say, no!
Yeah, so they are asked, hey, if we give you X amount of dollars, would you put your game in Game Pass? The developer or publisher in this case, they could be like, no, that's not enough. We want this much. And they get their money. It's not like they're not getting their money. I don't understand that narrative. Never did.
Hasn't
yes,
that been
it's
confirmed that
different than what
they
we're
agreed
used
to an amount and a contract and didn't they go into Game Pass or whatever, right? Or
yeah,
Okay.
I just think it's funny though, and I know about this because being an older gentleman myself, we're resistant to change sometimes. I was resistant to change to digital gaming, but now I'm all digital gaming. Once I figured out, hey, I could save some money doing it this way, and then Game Pass has saved me a lot of money. It's like I'm all into this kind of world. Like it's good for me. It's good for my wallet mostly, and so I don't understand the issue here. As a consumer, I'm all in, man. It's just odd. It's really
Tim
odd.
Dog, you have to wake up real early in the morning to debate something developers talk about factually that they already paid and they agree to stuff before it goes into Game Pass, or when this narrative flips. What do you anticipate seeing on Twitter?
Just another fake narrative that tries to debunk it and put it down. Meanwhile, it just, they're adding tons of people at the moment on Game Pass. Just by even offering the $1 to $3 deal there. They're really seeing a ton of movement. So I think Game Pass in general, the health, is it's like a triathlete, health. It's really doing good.
I like it.
And getting bigger, and I think, E3 is a lot changed now. It's not the same. It's not the same. It's
Hey,
different.
Tim, get up on your mic because Matthew Hazelhurst says Tim Dog would survive the longest in a quiet place.
I'm sorry.
Just don't get up on a car and yell instead. Just throw a rock or something.
I know that I'm sick
better
from the vaccine.
I've got you turned up 200% maxed out of my end, Tim. I didn't want to bother you here. I know you're dying over there.
So, but the E3 and the planning and things that you're hearing pushed back and all that stuff, that might be true, but it's all, because they are doing good. And I think that if that is the truth, I'm sure like Phil and everyone's pissed off because the shortages and you really can't do anything about it. Just you have an insane amount of hype and you sell out Xboxes in 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. 30 seconds, and there's just an unreal demand, and they can't really gauge it because they can't sell the console.
Yeah, and that's an issue affecting like KY Bob was talking about the automotive industry suffering from chip shortages and stuff, and people are changing jobs because of this stuff. It's not just Xbox and PlayStation and AMD and Nvidia. It's everybody. But
I really want people to understand.
Go ahead, finish that. And
I really want people to understand this, and I'm going to be really quick here. If you look at this situation as like going forward in the future, you're buying all your games for $70 on your platform. The other platform over there has their games in Game Pass day one. Buying all these games at $70, not every game is going to be a banger. And when you spend this money, you're sometimes you're losing out. And when you're on that particular platform that I'm speaking of, which is the PS5, good luck on getting a refund. Like, there's things like that do come into play. You want to, you could say that I'm being a fanboy or whatever for saying something like that, but I'm speaking as just a gamer and a consumer here. I don't want to be spending $70 on games that, let's face it, they've been coming out broken and buggy lately. The past year, every game has had severe bugs, it seems. And it's just like, look, I'm tired of being a beta tester, spending $60, $70, whatever. If you had Game Pass, you wouldn't really have to worry as much in that regard. Like, you wouldn't lose out monetarily. So
I mean, that's a good point. I think that there haven't been that many games really come out, and I think the ones that have, like Cyberpunk, have been an example for others, and that has caused games like Gotham Knight-Lights or whatever the fuck that game's called to be pushed back.
But it hasn't stopped games from coming out with severe bugs. Look at Returnal.
Returnal. It has some serious bugs, but apparently those are PlayStation 5 related, the developer said. Like, it's not on them. They're waiting for Sony to fix a system level issue.
See, some of that I agree with, like some of the crashing, but some of the stuff where you're falling through the
that's
ground
definitely
and
an
stuff,
issue.
I don't think that's on PS5.
Yeah, that's definitely an issue. And I don't know the circumstances. I'm just saying that I think that games like Cyberpunk have been a big example to these bigger companies, especially, to just, take your time, quality over quantity. Matthew Hasselhurst, that's absolutely the case. I did do that. Philly Eagle, yes, definitely. We're not really miserable or super concerned with it. It's just a conversation, kind of liven things up a little bit, get a little passion out of people. And it's for...
What does that mean?
Wait a minute. Somebody in the chat just said, I'd rather have $70 quality over a free 6 out of 10 game. Listen, when games start coming out that do get those 8 and 9s out of 10, and they're going directly into Game Pass, then what are you going to say?
They already
mean like
are.
Gears
What do you
5?
mean, like Gears and Ori and
No.
Forza Horizon 4?
I'm just saying, like, I know there's some out there, but we're going to get... Look, Xbox is going to get an onslaught of games the next 3-4 years. You're going to start seeing a lot of games being pushed out by the Bethesda teams, by the teams over at Microsoft. All these first-party teams are going to be pushing a lot of games out, and a lot of these games are going to be high-quality games. And then where's that narrative going to go?
Do you realize, like, this whole argument where we said, like, 2017 and 18 weren't great for Xbox, and they started building game studios? Like, the past year, the Xbox and PlayStation were neck and neck across the board with their exclusive content as far as ratings. Like, I think they were in the 78 or 79 aggregate across the board. Like, PlayStation has had some big 90s, right? They had they had a 90, and they had, like, some high 80s, and Xbox had a bunch of 80s. PlayStation had a couple low ones. Xbox, it's so stupid.
It's not even just the first-party games. They're not even looking at the multi-plat games. When we start getting more and more AAA multi-plat games into the Game Pass ecosystem,
multi-plat.
Then what are you going to do? I mean,
All right. Hang on. We got a lot of topics here. I gotta get this with you guys.
Crazy though.
But yeah,
it's such a dumb talking point.
Yeah,
stupid.
It is
stupid.
It definitely is. Malik, by the way, says Microsoft acquired WB. We're gonna talk about WB and some stuff going on there. It's pretty interesting, actually. Something I didn't even know until yesterday. Some pretty interesting stuff. J-Rock, PS5's SSD is so advanced that it transforms into a mechanical drive when playing old games. Holy crap! Autobots, roll out. And we've also got Infrablade. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Most powerful CPU and GPU also equate to faster loading times. Yes, it actually does. KY Bob says, D-Batch, please school me. What the hell? The direct Wi-Fi Microsoft is using for the controller and the device's connections in the series consoles. Does it have the bandwidth? I think it's actually better than Bluetooth right now, right? The proprietary Wi-Fi Direct he's talking about that uses the controllers.
Yeah.
It's more.
Yeah,
it's more.
Yeah,
it's more, but it doesn't have enough bandwidth to support a VR headset like that. No, that's not even close, brother. That's not even. You wouldn't even consider that for a VR headset.
No,
not at least in the current incarnation.
Maybe 2035.
2035. RDX son of Fett. He says. He says, how are PS5 games listed as 1440p but can't do 1440p right? Question mark. I'm super confused about this still. Also, D, he's talking about, he says he needs to do some videos. Yes, D, you need to do videos. Do some more videos.
Yeah, I'll be back, and I'll be back better than ever.
And then remember, as Dova King says, but Cerny said, you got to start each video out with that, and then we'll make sure that that's all fact checked and whatnot. Need some more of that. So again, shout out to those guys in the super chat. Shout out to over 1,600 people watching live, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, let's try to get closer to 1,000 for the end of the show. Show it to a buddy, tell a friend. We do appreciate you as we move forward. That topic lasted way too long. Oh, by the way, Evil Within is apparently back. The trademark is renewed for continued use, so you can expect Microsoft to probably be continuing production on that with Tango Gameworks, I do believe, which is, who is that? The guy that led and developed Resident Evil 4? Is that it?
Isn't Tango the ones in Japan?
They're making Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, they're making Ghostwire Tokyo right now.
So who the hell? I mean, maybe they got another team on Evil Within, or maybe they're making a movie, or what?
No, you're right. I think they're finishing up Ghostwire, and they made Evil Within, right, Zocker?
Yeah. So I mean, like in anything, like they're getting close to dropping Ghostwire, and so they probably already have another team working on something else. Right, like getting all the production, all the things that they want, all the priorities, and then they'll get the big team on it once they are ready to start production on it.
Evil Within, by the way, runs at 60 FPS. Evil Within 2 right now on Series X. Auto HDR really brings that game to life if you haven't tried it.
Can I say something really quick, since you were talking about those studios? PlayStation announced last week that they're working on 25 games. Some of them are included in what we know are coming for the generation, which is pretty awesome, but Xbox has like almost 40 games in the works from like their 23 studios plus global publishing and some of those like leaks we've been hearing about. So like I would say well over 30 or 35 of those games have been confirmed or have been talked about. That those are in production, or we know what the studios are working on. Like we don't know what Compulsion's game is, but we've heard their developers talk about what type of game they're working on. So that's a game. That's not a book they're writing. It's that's kind of, just keep that in perspective, because I think that we won't see a couple of big games that we saw last year shown because they're not ready for gameplay reveal. But there's a whole bunch of other stuff that is all brand new to us. It's going to be at E3.
And one thing they have to understand too, out of that 25 games that Sony is talking about, they do say some big and small games as well. So some of these games are definitely going to be indie type games as well. But the biggest news there is the fact that at least 12 of them will be new IP. That is awesome.
Those are most likely, for the most part, going to be those smaller titles, which, again, I expect the same thing for Microsoft.
You think some will be PSVR 2 games, Dealer?
I think some will be...
No. These are talking about... you're right, because I was thinking PS5, but yeah, it could be PSVR 2.
Ooh, you're going to have...
Because they always work on one or two VR games.
I mean, listen, Xbox has 23 studios. They have 13. I think that you would think that Xbox has more games in development. I mean... I don't need to have to say that when I see everyone go like going crazy about what Sony says. I mean, this is what we've been talking about for 2 years and adding up. And like when you did the math with Bethesda, you was like, okay, it's a ridiculous sway. But yeah, it looks like next generation overall is off to an unbelievable start, and it's hassled a little bit by the shortages, but I think, we're getting to a point where it's going to, explode again, especially when everything goes back to like normal, the way we used to be, and everyone's, COVID's a thing. So, it's just, we're just in the point of that both Sony and Xbox are going to make a ton of money in the next 3, 4 years, 5 years. And, they're both going different ways, but the future will tell. I think it's big enough for both of them.
I think they're going the same way.
But I have to let me jump in there for a second, because I think the one thing that we have to remember is, they're making 25 games. I get that, but the other thing was, like last year, we even heard behind the scenes, a lot of people were talking last year that Sony was really going out trying to get like third-party support, like buying exclusives, which is the Ghostwire, which is Deathloop. There's probably others, and I guarantee you that Xbox saw that also. So that's why everybody's like, man, Xbox has deals with a lot of people, or IO Interact, and it's because competition. That's what happened, and I'm gonna, no fanboy bullshit here. you know, I know people are like, oh, the ratings or Xbox, and if Xbox touches the game, it's going to be crap. You know, to be quite honest, that's on Xbox. That's on them. They need to be able to, like, I love Forza, I love Gears, I love all those, and those are the highest rated games they have with Ori and all that. And I love Sea of Thieves. It's not highly rated, but Xbox needs to show us, the gamers, and everybody else that they can consistently bring out really good, high quality games, because that's something that Sony did all generation, and that's why they have that stigma. And don't get me, and that's just what it is. Like, as an Xbox fan, I'm not going to make excuses for them. None of us are on here. And if a game comes out like crap, like they showed Halo Infinite, it looked like crap. Did you see us in here going, it looked amazing? No. We were like, dude, hell no. You better fucking delay that shit. And, you know, and that's where we're going to be here. We're going to, you guys, everybody here listening to us, everybody in this panel, we all deserve better. And we're always going to demand better. And that's just the way it is. And if Sony brings out something stupid, we're going to be like, hey, it's just stupid. And that's all it is. And so the competition is what counts. So that's all.
You want to know what the rumored game that Sony had for a year was, or was in discussions about?
Wasn't it Starfield?
Yeah. Starfield. So, you know, it reminds me of, what's the movie where it's the end of the movie and he goes, he bought the team, and he goes, well, I bought the company. I don't know the movie. It's just a movie like that he bought the whole thing, and that's the way I felt.
The Batman movie?
No, maybe it is the Batman movie.
When he's like, how'd you get the house from the bank? I bought the bank.
Yeah, that's what it was. Right, exactly. That part reminds me of what happened here. Like, I felt like they were like getting needled, and they were going to get Starfield to be exclusive for a year. Would have been unbelievably huge. And then they bought it. You know what I mean? They got the whole thing, and you know,
pushed them down the stairs. Get the hell out of our way.
Yeah, it was a move that Xbox really needed to make and define them, and it's still defining them.
And Sony wanted to do that because, again, like Xbox, right? They're both investing in third-party deals because they need time for the first party, which is crazy to think about because Xbox had 50,000 years, but, you know, still, Sony just drops. I would have held Ghost of Tsushima and Last of Us for a PS5 release at launch. I would have just held them and been like, look, we got an amazing launch. But
they did have a decent launch anyway.
Did they?
I mean, they had Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Demon's Souls for their launch.
As far as a new generational launch, it was decent. Yeah, because usually new generational launches aren't very good.
I remember a lot,
but they really should.
I remember Xbox One and PS4 launches having more, especially from third parties and stuff like that. Yeah, like I had a Battlefield 4 day one, Assassin's Creed day one, Forza day one, I had Rise day one, I had Dead Rising day one. I mean, you had a ton of stuff day one.
I remember playing on my Indie Station 4 day one. I had Resogun. I had
no, dealer's right. Xbox One had the better launch, but it had the better launch,
but it wasn't fantastic.
You had that Resogun action, Fonzie, really? That wasn't my experience.
I liked it. And that was hard.
Titanfall, Rise.
Titanfall was like 3 months in.
I sold that lipstick for $6,000. That's an expensive ass lipstick. Jesus. But Fonz, you're right. I mean, in a way, right? Everyone had their own experience, but
my PS5's collecting.
Yeah, I would have held Tsushima for.
Feel bad.
Well, be sure it's collecting dust. You know, it has those little ports you can vacuum the dust out.
I need to find out. Yeah, I should like vacuum it out or something, or blow it out with some.
That's what Other Zinc said in the chat. He goes, nobody's playing a PS5 or PS5 exclusive right now. I mean, people might still be grinding on Returnal.
Miles Morales was fire.
Miles Morales,
short, but it was fire.
Yeah, it was. I started playing the original Spider-Man remaster 60. Did they update the original one with ray tracing into frame rate mode?
I don't know. I don't have it.
I don't know. My PS5 fell off a mountain. Well, either way, shout out to the chat, guys. 1,700 almost watching, guys. We do appreciate it. Fail Pyromancer. Apparently, that's not him in the chat. I don't know what's happening. That's not really him in the chat. That's a doppelganger. So, yeah, he's chill, like in the chat usually. So just be aware of that, mods. That's not really Fail Pyromancer. That's a T1000 coming back through time.
He has a fake one out there.
That's Time Cop Jr. back there causing some mayhem.
Which one's the nice one?
I don't know. He said his account can't. His account can't.
I'm just saying, I see some shit said by that person, and I'm just like,
Yeah, so if we go ahead and get rid of that failed Pyromancer account for good, the one that's saying some very questionable things that, you know, come from the 40s and stuff, and then we'll go ahead and find the original Pyromancer.
Greatest generation, how dare you?
Just shut up, Zucker. Hey, by the way, Ascent only on Xbox for now? Question mark. Developer was apparently approached early on in development for console exclusivity with Microsoft. And this is, again, going back to the buying third-party support. Forget 2015 and how we don't want to take games away from anybody. No, apparently they're paying for part of the development, which I feel like it's really easy for people to say that with any deal like this. I don't know if they're... Cole, are they really paying for development? Or are they really like, here's $5, don't put it on PlayStation?
I don't know how they do that.
Starbucks.
Buy yourself a coffee, bitch.
The team that's making the Ascent is not very big. The Wikipedia says it's 11 people. Maybe they've grown since
Game
that
looks
was
incredible
posted.
for 11 people.
Yeah, I mean it's Diablo with ranged, Gatling guns and laser guns, and we'll be playing that. But
They said
I don't know I don't know how it got exclusive, but it's on Steam and it's on Xbox. So I don't know.
I thought they said that like a year and a half ago that they had a game and they pitched it to Xbox, and Xbox was like looking at the concepts they had and they're like, this is kind of awesome. Here's some money. And so they helped make it develop. And I think the developer, a year and a half when it was shown on that last year in May, they had like a little interview. I could be wrong. I think it's them though. But they said that the game would not be possible without Xbox. Like they were like, yeah, they're the ones that helped us fund it. And then they were talking about like, oh, why do you want it on the Series X? And they're like, well, Xbox got us in contact with some engineers that helped us make it into the Series X and optimized.
Shout out to KSante, by the way. Sorry, Zucker. I wanted to thank him for letting me know about the Spider-Man thing. Go ahead. I thought you were taking a breath.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. That's yeah.
I thought you were taking a breath.
I mean, like, hey, I misjudged it. My bad.
Oh, don't worry about it.
The impressions were very good on this game. If you, I posted the PC. If you look on my page, I posted a couple of them. The impressions were good, and I read through some of them. It is pretty crazy that 11 guys made this team. But then when you think about it, the game's, I guess, the way it's built, had Diablo style. Maybe that's easier. Because to be honest, it really looks advanced. It looks like a game that I used to play on in the arcade. It was called Narc, or kind of like
Snitch Bitch, the game.
It kind of has, it has a really a distinct feel. So I would say keep your eyes, on this one, and you really don't have to because you have Game Pass. I mean, it's coming to Game Pass supposedly July 29th.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
I'm
huge
so looking
get.
forward to it.
I am looking for it. It looks like it's cyberpunk, but they say don't say that because it does look like it, but it's nothing like it. It is an RPG.
It's a bad word now.
It's an RPG.
It's a cyberpunk-esque game, and it looks really like... I don't know, I was looking forward to this game when they first showed it, and that's something that the developer even talking about, like the destructible environments. They said that the destructible environment's only able to be done on the Series X because of like the CPU and everything, all the technology there that Xbox helped them like cultivate. So like I feel like there are some of those developers, like third-party developers, that Xbox kind of saw that can help them, right? Like a talented team that can be like, hey, what can you get out of the system for us, right? So I think it was just a symbiotic relationship between Xbox and this developer.
Well, I mean, either way, the game looks good. You can pre-download it right now. It's in Game Pass day one. And
Dude,
Colt
Game
told me
Pass
behind the
is insane.
scenes he ain't playing this shit because that account keeps making fun of him.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Psychos.
Colt went to go get a bowl of Bugles covered in hot sauce.
What's up with that? What do you mean? What's up with that?
The Ascent, their Twitter account. They're always
I see. I'm
They're always
sorry.
making fun of you.
They've made fun of me like several times.
So, what happened between you and the Ascent Twitter account last time on Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, like a couple weeks ago, they said they were tired of people asking about when the release date for the Ascent is. They said anybody who asks, we're going to tag on 23,552 more years or something like that. And so I said, oh, I should actually go look up what I guessed. But I said, so this date? And they're like, that's it. And they made fun of me. And so today they said, we tried to think of something mean to say about Colt, and we didn't want to be too mean, but the best we can do is he died of dysentery.
Oh my God.
Oregon
and
Trail
then I
reference.
looked under the thread, and they like Xbox Chief and a bunch of other guys that are Xbox fans and Ascent, excited about Ascent. Like anybody who had interacted with them on Twitter, they were blasting them. I saw that when I woke up this morning. So
shout out to Noof Nukem in the chat. Shout out to Joe in the chat. Shout out to Dr. Dinglenut. I hope you have your license still. And Spooky Sprocket, of course, big supporter of the show. Everyone else, all the channel members, Ash, Assassin Lupa, the fantastic moderators, Little Papa, and the Obi, I think he's in the chat. Horace and others just saying
Yeah,
hi.
oh shit.
Woo! And again, we do got to move forward here. I don't want to drag this out. Tell me about this damn AT&T thing, Zalker, AT&T WB deal. Apparently, was it poor investment that caused some issues with these studios? And explain how this went down with AT&T purchasing Warner Brothers and now saying, well, Batman ain't rich no more. What do we do?
Well, they basically AT&T bought Warner Brothers Media and Warner Brothers, and then they did it to basically put out HBO Max content and digital content, aka gaming content, comic content, whatever. And then they realized after they were done, they were so in debt that they were like, "Wow, we don't even have money to compete content-wise." like Disney Plus, all those people put $100 million in every show, or even $200 million. And so they're like, "We don't have that kind of cash to
Even
throw around."
AT&T doesn't have the money to fund this stuff.
No, because they're putting all their money towards 5G and all that other stuff. 'Cause that's their community and all that stuff. And so all that stuff happened, and now the games, Warner Brothers games, might be back up for like sale. Oh. So or broken up or put in different divisions so they can actually have stuff. And so NetherRealm, Rocksteady, all those things, like it's all in flux now. Like, so everything's up in the air. It's why, that's why the games probably got delayed. It's why everybody's been so quiet over there for Montreal and everything else. And every studio hasn't said shit because they don't know what's going on, basically. And so now everybody thinks like, oh, maybe Xbox will get them. I guarantee you, Sony, Xbox, everybody's looking like, hey, so what's going on over here? We could help you with that debt if you just give us this studio. because they're like, I think $150 billion in debt. So they need to recoup that somehow. So they merge
the company card.
So they merge with Discovery Plus, and like HBO Max Discovery Plus is merging, so they can make content from there. There's all these new executives coming in, all this new stuff, and basically restructuring in the next year. Warner Brothers is losing their head guy; he's leaving, his contract's up. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and they have a lot of debt that they need to get rid of, and that's where the games come in. That's where the studios come in, and that's where the IPs come in, right? We don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't know. If anything happens, it's gonna be ugly. But
how do you know?
We'll see.
How do you know it's gonna be ugly?
Because it's already ugly, bro. They're already yo, we can't compete. Fuck.
Yeah. But Zachary, he was the biggest proponent of HBO Max and Godzilla for $250 million day one.
Bro, it's such a good movie. I don't give a shit. I am a big proponent. I didn't have to go.
The CEO of AT&T, all right, guys, well, we're fucked. It was a good plan.
And that was a big thing when they did that. Fault. That day and date stuff is great for us, right?
Yeah, it is.
We're like, cool.
Yeah.
That's great for us. But for them, they just did it, didn't tell anybody. And directors were like, yo, we make bonuses off of this and this and this. And they're like, well, we'll just pay your bonuses, not knowing that the pandemic doesn't, nobody's going to the movies. So they just it's just a horrible deal. They've lost so much money.
For them though, since it's digital streaming, even though there's no, what?
Well, they already
caused this, Zucker. That damn HBO Max application doesn't support HDR or even decent 4K half the time. That's the reason.
Well, they don't have it anywhere. HBO Max is only in the United States. It's not even in the rest of the world. So that's so they only have 40 million. So they're just cutting themselves at the legs from getting even more subscribers. And that's why Game Pass, you see a big thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to get it everywhere. Wow. Every area, because that's how you make the money. That's how Netflix has 200+ million subscribers. So HBO Max is making money, but you need to have way more money to put up front to get more original content.
I didn't know it was only in the States, which is crazy.
Yeah, HBO Max is only in the States.
Welcome to the HBO Max podcast.
In Canada,
nobody cares about Canada, D.
Oh my God!
I'm joking. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I'm joking.
No, we have it.
Zucker sounds like D. You're sound like you're in the back of the bus or a classroom or something, brother. It's hard to hear you.
What are you doing? I think
it's my fan that's canceling it.
Yeah, it's echoing everywhere. It reminds me of we're in a big soda can. D's somewhere we can't. We're where's D? I hear his voice. What's going on with HBO Max? And how come it's not across seas right now?
Well, like I was saying to Zucker before, we kind of have it here. We have it in another program, so they'll show some of the movies on it, so it's not a full-fledged version. And I suppose they probably have some deals like that worldwide where they kind of subsidize it. So it as a whole, though, it should come to the whole world because, of course, that's where you're going to make your money. Now, this AT&T deal, that would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But I don't see. I'm so confused because these guys say they're coming out. They're going to compete in the clouding space. We've been hearing this for quite some time. We hear that they're buying this studio. Where this merger is going to happen. That merger is going to happen. Nothing seems to be working out. So I don't even know what to think on this. To be quite honest with you guys, man,
it is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Like where there's smoke, there's fire. So I think there's some desire to get this deal done. But it's a lot of money, man. It is a big risk because it's a lot of money, and if it goes south,
it's
good time,
isn't it?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you got to look at it this way, right? Like if they want HBO Max for subscription, like they want digital content, right? Gaming doesn't have any subscription; it doesn't help them. All it does is like they make a Batman game, it needs to sell well to do well. So that to me is a problem in the gaming division. And everything in Warner Brothers, even the comic books, I'm subscribed to their comic book thing, DC Infinite, whatever the hell it's called. I'm subscribed to that because I can read all their comics and I love comics. But then in HBO Max, again, all the movies and all that stuff go to subscriptions. The only thing that doesn't is the gaming. So they're going to front, gaming's getting more expensive, as everyone has said. So are they going to front $150 million to Rocksteady or $200 million to make a game and then be like, well, hopefully you sell 8 million, 10 million units? That's what I see as a problem. They don't want that. They'll probably, and then the people that do have a subscription service for that and works and that needs content is Xbox.
It'd be nice though to have a Rocksteady under your belt though, and have Batman games and maybe a new character to make a game around. That'd be nice.
Isn't that a rumor though, Fonz? Is that like Sony or something is trying to get WB now? Like, what would you do if
they don't have the money for that?
Oh shit.
I mean, let's be honest.
It'd be like 16 billion. I would think. Yeah, I would think.
I will say this though.
Actually, with the and it's a messy one with Batman and all the IPs involved. It's a listen. I think the
well, you don't get all those IPs. Though. You'd have to get those. Those are licensed.
You'd just be getting devs. I mean, it's a real bad situation they're in right now. And what I feel like, and not to interrupt D, but I feel like that AT&T has lost all faith in building video games, and now they want to go out of it, and they're a big corporation. They're going to do these developers dirty, in my opinion, and that's going to suck. They should have sold it then, if that's the case, when they had the chance. And I don't think Microsoft's going to touch it now, because they lost their position of power right now, and it would be a lot for Xbox to take on, I think. Maybe, with no IPs and stuff like that. It was a different deal back then. And, that's, I guess, when they gave up. And this is just, to be honest, it looks real bad for the studios that were under AT&T.
Yeah.
Well, D, I mean, think about this, though, right? IPs aside. NetherRealm, I was playing Mortal Kombat 11 today. I cannot believe how good that damn game looks, right? Mm-hmm. On every single level. And... even without Mortal Kombat, let's say WB want to keep that for some reason, even though they don't have any game studios, and they're like, we license it out like we used to, or whatever. Let's say they do the same with Batman. One of the things right now that's most in demand is just manpower, more developers. That's why they've had to shift guys to Halo, to everything else, right? They need more guys that are making games right now. It seems like to me, right? So I would still swoop up these very, very talented teams with Ed Boon and Rocksteady with Sefton Hill and all these guys that are phenomenal at what they do. This is still top quality that can make other games or work on other IPs.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. I live this model. I live or die by it. I burn sometimes with it, but no risk, no reward, man. Like sometimes you gotta risk it, and I do think in the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot of these companies moving to a subscription-based program, because this is really starting to catch fire with Microsoft's Game Pass service. And as more and more games come in there, as more third-party games come in there, as their exclusives, their big exclusives finally make it to the service, I think we're going to see the subscription grow substantially. And I think other companies are going to want a piece of that. They're going to want to have their WB's Game Pass service on Microsoft's console, on PC, on PlayStation 5. And like you said, in order to do that, you're going to need the manpower. So, no risk, no reward. They do have the money to do it. It is risky, but if they really want to get a foothold into this gaming division, I think the subscription model is the way for them. I think it can work, and I think if they get the right manpower and get the right licenses, I think it could be very successful. So it's interesting. I want to see where it goes. Yeah, it's just very interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dealer. That's my biggest take too. Is like if you can get these talented developers over, they can make any game really. And like I said, they can take another character from Marvel or DC or what you know, and make a fantastic game and make it, and more importantly, exclusive to Xbox, because they would benefit greatly from another identity like that.
If Microsoft want to pay to fund, you know, for obviously their first party at that point, if that's the case, like why not, right? Cody Eastwood wants an exclusive Ant-Man game, and I don't know why he's pushing for that so hard, but he's a big fan of Ant-Man for some reason.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man, I'm so big.
I mean, I'd be down.
WB is $43 billion, so whatever they pull apart and segment off for whatever studios would be buyable. I don't know. I don't really hear a lot about Sony looking to buy studios. We hear more about about Xbox wanting to buy publishers or work with publishers, not so much buy more studios. We've talked about that a few weeks in a row. So this WB thing just presents like, hey, who's got a home for these people? And maybe it's just publishing deals.
I don't want to see them on like a Sarah McLachlan commercial. Like, you know, like I don't want to see that. Too much good talent.
Yeah.
I don't want to see them going somewhere like Tencent or anything like that. I don't want to see that happen. I want to see, you know, the big thing is that I think Matt Booty is at capacity, if not even overworked. He has like 15 studios to work with, and then obviously Bethesda's fine. They have Pete Hines and all those guys. It would really depend on the Warner Brothers leadership, like who they have in the gaming leadership doing there.
I just think the money that they're going to be going for, I just don't think it's worth it for Microsoft. I think they're in a good place now. I don't know. Maybe Tim would have way more insight on this, man.
And when you said that, Zucker, I just pictured Matt Booty sitting there going, stop! It's like everything's on fire, developers running everywhere. Like, yeah, that's a lot of studios to manage for one guy. So I wonder if they'll get someone to assist Matt Booty run those studios, 23 and 30 or 40 games. Kind of nuts for one guy to check in on.
Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the WB thing a long time ago. We had heard that Microsoft were interested, and then WB were doing some other things, and now it's like, oh, crap, some of our stuff on HBO Max, which I didn't even know wasn't even available over in Europe and Australia and stuff, apparently, according to Zauker here. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be putting that much money into a platform that's not global.
Why don't they get Sean Layden to help them out?
Yeah, they could. He's in the boiler room with Freddy Krueger. Get him in there.
He's working for some big event company. Though, so
yeah, I heard.
He's not even in the gaming industry anymore.
He's hiring more flute guys.
Yeah, I mean he's in an industry that does big events, so he's probably somewhat connected to gaming. But yeah,
is he still wearing a little coat?
Yes, bad guy. I like that. I like Sean Layden. Everybody
shout out. Yeah, he way better than
shout out.
I like his hair,
Jim.
Yeah, shout out to Sean Layden, and shout out to everybody watching live, guys. Hit the like button if you haven't. We do appreciate it. We are going to move forward as we should have done 50 years ago. Let me, explain, Zucker. A lot of stuff going on there. There's also a deal between one of Tencent Studios, Timmy, or TIMI, and Xbox Game Studios. They are going to collaborate to bring some impressive, immersive content to broad users, and this studio, Xbox Game Studios, are partnering with, were responsible for Call of Duty Mobile. So you're looking at Gears Pop 2. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what it is. It's probably a mobile game.
Don't put that devil on us.
Yeah, I never played it, never microtransactioned it, but I know Tim Dog did. Tim, what do you think they're working on with Timmy?
I have absolutely no idea. Don't really care because it's a mobile thing.
Oh, shit.
And that's the way I feel. That's when I read the topic. Care. That's how I felt.
Who do you think's developing it with them, though? What team? Like, what team do they even have to throw there? Or are they getting a new team?
Maybe they have a team in Bethesda that does mobile, so you can do that. You know,
okay.
It's possible, you know.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
There's one of the teams. I think it's Roadhouse. There's a mobile developer.
Roundhouse.
Patrick Swayze's over there making games.
Dealer don't.
What?
I've heard that they're pretty good. So like they're an interesting one. We'll see what happens with this. I mean, mobile games, unless they're done, mobile games just suck. I just remember. You know, the only thing I can think of is like playing on Xbox is good on a phone and stuff like that. but just mobile games in general, the make of them and the whole the whole money thing, and as we know, just I just don't like that, so it doesn't interest me. But it's probably something. Could be.
Here's what's going on with this.
Oh shit.
So this is an agreement or a start of an agreement to facilitate games on mobile natively, outside of just xCloud game streaming on mobile devices. But they're also in talks to maybe make a couple of Xbox IPs get their own mobile game just for mobile users. And what this does is, like, I agree with Tim. Like, who cares about games on phones when you there's 1,600 people watching right now that probably don't want to play a Xbox game on their phone or a new Halo game on their phone. But the difference is people on the other side of the world who game mostly on mobile devices, if they get some type of Halo or Gears game that is like
Gears Pop.
That is not, I was going to say that is not Gears Pop. Like some type of like cool game that like looks pretty cool and has good gameplay. Like that's something that people play. But over in this realm, it's kind of hard to talk about because it's not something we get excited about, but it's a way for Xbox to get further in the global market.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's that China probably doesn't allow things like xCloud because of that Arrow internet thing, right?
Yeah.
Alternate reality, the internet. And they want to basically make a game that's for a massive market like China because, xCloud and all that awesomeness isn't allowed over there. So this is their way of penetrating a market.
Yep, there you go.
You're welcome.
Probably not to cut it short, but I'm gonna cut out. Definitely need some time with this. My head's hurting and I'm just not feeling great.
I'm sorry, Tim Dog.
It's all right. I love you guys, love the fans, and thanks for everyone showing up. I try to come in, but I feel like I'm on.
You're good. We're pretty much at the end of the show. We got one more topic, man. Tell people where they can find you at least.
xCloud Tim Dog on Twitter. I'll keep myself on, just muted, but just don't call on me. If I come back, I come back. I just
hey Tim, give us one word before you go.
Ow.
Starfield.
Yeah.
Starfield. An extra 100 followers on Instagram. Tim posts some mad selfies on Instagram featuring sleeping Tim at E3.
I was gonna
Tim
say
with a martini in his hand at E3, and Tim at the public pool with the coconut water. And that's it. And Cody
6 Long Island iced teas Tim before E3. That's what it was. Tim went hard, man.
I gotta say though, as much as we make fun of like mobile games because it's not our cup of tea, it's a freaking huge market though, man. It's a huge market because when you think about it, everybody's got a cell phone at the end of the day, and a lot of these kids they don't care about the fancy consoles like some of the younger kids, and then the casual gamers they don't care either, So there's a market out there for them. So. Let's see.
You just gave me like PTSD when you said that everybody's got a phone. That's what the guy that developed Diablo Immortal said. Don't you all got phones? Don't you all got phones? Diablo Immortal is going to be amazing. And I'm just like, ugh.
Some of these phones have better screens than some of these frauds out here rocking the Roku. What do you call it? Anyway, no, it's fun. Let them do what they do. Maybe it makes a bunch of money and it all reciprocates back and. Then they make an extra game, who knows? But it is a big deal.
Well, Twisted Mental, shout out to him. He says, everybody who has both PS5, no comma or anything, but he says, everybody who has both PS5 is collecting dust. I don't know for sure. I know mine is. Mine fell off a cliff. Hectic World says, what do you think about Xbox dropping the Xbox Store? 30% cut to 12%. Is that actually, I thought that wasn't happening. The share of profits they take for games that release on the store. I didn't think it was dropping to 12% from 30%.
Wasn't that like discussed in that Apple versus Epic thing?
I don't really know. But Dan Lazaro says, judging Zucker's taste now, Godzilla was terrible. That new Godzilla versus King Kong was not terrible, sir. Was not.
No, it wasn't. It was sick.
It needed HDR badly, though. HBO Max application.
HDR and 4K.
Yeah, where you at? HBO and 340p. Huh? Yeah. Lord Starkiller.
Looking like a VCR Xbox One out there.
Looking like a recording of a VCR of just the VHS tape of a cassette player. Lord Starkiller says, time for Microsoft to put Rocksteady and NetherRealm in their shop. Yes, put them in their shopping cart. A bunch of emojis for the channel member. Shout out to you. CYV Studio says it will be cool if everyone watching hits the like button. Yes, it would be. And he says, Colt now have add me on. Okay. He wants you to. He's watching your podcast, Colt. He wants you to add him on Xbox Live and Tinder. Okay. Shout out to CYV Studio, as well as Dirt Griggity. Shout out to Dirt. We're supposed to do a show here soon. He says, "Hey, what's up, fellas? I've been saying wait till E3 for 5 years. Poor Dirt. Don't say that." He says, "Been saying wait for E3 for the last 5 years and was let down, but this time I think Xbox might actually show something, some new stuff. Could be." Could definitely be. I think they're definitely armed to the teeth with studios, and Phil Spencer and everybody, you know, we know these guys watch the show and we're fans of what they do. And they've been on the show, Larry Herb and a lot of the employees. They say we're pretty harsh and they love the feedback and they love the criticism. It helps them be better at what they do. I'm sure they watch Weebly Green and all these other podcasts as well. Yeah, we stopped saying wait till E3 because we've been doing that for quite a while. And I don't think Microsoft can afford to play it safe this year, Microsoft. So yeah, please just show some new stuff, show some gameplay, and make sure the damn mountains are fucking loaded in. That's what I want. I'm sure Halo will look great. Colt, we're looking at Roblox Halo upgraded ×5.
Screenshot that they share, it's like,
yeah, I'm a grunt in Roblox.
Yeah, it's horrible, but it'll be better. We're hearing good things.
Yeah,
it better be better.
He said it better be better.
It better be better. Yeah.
Hey, what about the new socks that released from Halo? Halo socks.
Oh my god!
Frozen with those. They're on their feet for 200 years.
Yeah. We were Zocker shared with us that some company is developing Halo themed socks. And it's like, take your fight to the toes. And it didn't say that, but I'm like, come on, Xbox. You know, once in a while, just kind of say, hey, we appreciate the flattery, but you know that doesn't really align with our brand. We already have body wash and an American Girl doll. Can we cool it with like the theme socks and the Pringles? How about something cool like a flight jacket or a baseball hat or like a nose ring, something?
Yeah. Lady Foxfire, by the way, shout out to her. It's been a minute since I've seen her around in general. Seriously, nice to see you in the chat. She says, I know people that play Forza Street. And then they got Forza on the console, big upgrade. Yeah, so basically proving the power of certain mobile games. They like Forza Street, which used to be called Miami Street, I do believe. They rebranded it. And then they liked it so much that they actually went and got Forza on the console. And they actually really, really enjoyed it. She says, always listen after the stream. Thank you so much, seriously. And that's kind of the power of xCloud. You get a game on your phone. What's this Xbox app? All right, I'm gonna download Super Lucky Tail. Sounds amazing. They play it and they're like, wow, this is trash. Let me try it on my console. So they go buy a console and they want to see it on their big TV and they see all these other games. And that's kind of it feeds into itself. That's the beauty of xCloud.
A gateway.
Malik F, final one here. He says if Microsoft bought up WB Games, they could obtain the patent for Nemesis system. Now that is a very, very interesting system. Ooh. One that I hope next used will not have the guy coming back 47 deaths later. His legs are all duct taped back on. You know, he's got a burnt face. We got a crutch and a peg leg. You know, once you kill a guy, maybe you should come back once at max, but not 5 times. You know, that's all I'm saying. I don't think you should have a metal face and RoboCop orc comes back.
Don't be hating on Luzgug the orc. He came back all the time. Luzgug. He came back and he's like, man, swine, you thought you killed me when my head rolled down the hill? You stupid bitch.
Oh, crap, it's Luzgug.
You thought
Oh, my God.
I killed me when my head rolled down the hill into the volcano. I'm back.
Come back, you stupid bitch.
He just passes out, has a heart attack. Crap. My robo heart failed.
Either way, headless orc walking down. There you are.
Luzgug, the headless orc. His head's sewn to his leg. He's back to kick your ass with his face. That's gonna be quoted, and I like it.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, but yeah, I mean, seriously, that would be pretty cool, actually. Thanks for the super chats and the support. There's also a new Xbox update, by the way, guys. Dolby Vision finally coming to video games on the Xbox Series S and X, and you can now see what's in the quick resume by looking at your groups in your games and apps tab. So games and apps, boom, go to groups. You have a new group there called Quick Resume. You can therefore exit out of certain games or whatever. If you're having issues with online games like Fight Night Champion, right? You're back compat. Anytime you leave that game in Quick Resume, you come back, it will not connect, and you cannot play things online. You can't do things, so you got to exit out and restart the game. So if you're having issues with games like Call of Duty, etc., go on that Quick Resume tab, make sure it's quit out, not running in Quick Resume. That way the servers aren't timed out. You can kind of reboot it and do things there. But the Dolby Vision for games, D-Batch, that's a big deal. It's a long time coming.
That is. And yeah, man, Dolby Vision is the best type of HDR you can get. Now, I'm not going to down on the HDR10 because it's also good. But Dolby Vision, it can do up to like 12 bits. You got dynamic HDR in there, so you're gonna get the best reproduction. And to have that kind of exclusive right now on the Series X, because I'm not hearing Sony do anything with that, is a pretty big deal. Now, I guess I am still an insider. I've disabled the updates because, like, I'll be honest, I just want my shit to work. And I've beta tested for Microsoft for years, and I just don't want to do it right now. So I've opted out. But I see some people that are still in it, and apparently with the HDR, with Dolby Vision HDR enabled, some users are only getting 60 frames per second, right? With that enabled. Yeah, and that's due to the lower bandwidth of the CX and the BX. Because they lowered the bandwidth there, so you're not getting the 120 with the Dolby.
I heard there was a patch coming.
I think let's see what they're doing, because from what I've heard, it's due to the bandwidth limitations. So the C9 apparently can do it because it didn't have that bandwidth limitation. So there is some stuff that they can do to kind of get it through. So let's see what happens with the update. But currently, it's just capped at 60, which is okay anyways, because like it's not like we have a zillion games doing 120 frames per second, on the Series X. So to get the Dolby Vision HDR, if it's at 60 frames per second, I'm okay with that, because 60 frames per second is the bare minimum that we can deal with nowadays, anyways. So I think it's cool, man. To be really honest,
I think the main takeaway, though, the main takeaway here is that Dolby Vision has that dynamic tone mapping, and that's the real killer there for HDR10.
Right.
And that's something that I want to see how that is implemented within these games, honestly. I mean, because when it comes to tech and stuff, like, I don't know much about PCs and stuff, but when it comes to TV, I really like that kind of stuff. Like, I watch and listen to a lot of people talk about it, and yeah, I want to see how they implement that dynamic tone mapping within our games, because we should have better, quality visuals and stuff with that. And I want to see how they do that within a video game.
Well, to be fair, HDR10 does do dynamic tone mapping as well, but it's just not as widely as supported as Dolby Vision. It's like pretty much the standard there. So I think overall
HDR10 was static, whereas HDR10 Plus was the dynamic.
Yeah, HDR10 Plus. That's correct. Yeah, but they've had it for about the last couple of years. HDR10 Plus, right?
Yep. I like HDR4.
That's even in our games. HDR10 Plus isn't within our games either, though. It's just the standard.
It's not. And there's
Are you guys using Pantene Pro V?
I'm
HDR?
using Pantene. Yeah.
But the main thing, the takeaway here basically is that if you have a Dolby Vision set that might not be capable of the highest nits with this dynamic tone mapping, you're going to get the best image quality. And I just think it's a bonus feature to have this on the Xbox Series X. The Series X, like, just from a technical standpoint, and I don't even want to give this clown credence because he's just trying to troll for views.
Bozo the clown? Which one?
But they were saying, oh, the PlayStation 5 is better in every way. No, it's like, if you want to say they got great exclusives, fine. I can't deny that. But when it from a hardware standpoint and all the features that are baked into the Series X and all the capabilities that it's displaying now that the competition is not, it's not a better system.
And it's going to get better over time, D-Bitch, just like the other one.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Like, I think E3. I know we say wait for E3. We're not going to say that.
Don't say that, D-Bitch.
I
wait
think
for E3, guys.
Because if somebody, a guest or anybody else says it, automatically I said it. I'm tired of that shit.
No. I think E3, we're going to see some stuff that will demonstrate some of these features of the Series X, some of the things that we have to look forward to. I really want Microsoft to give us a gaze a little bit out in the future. I know they don't like to do that, but I think it's necessary, and I think they should, give us a peek of what's to come with some of these set features.
Mark Cerny peek.
Oh shit! With a little bit of that, what's the guy's name? The first Batman, Michael Keaton. Mark Cerny with a little bit of half a bit of Michael Keaton. Who did this? Anyway, yeah, well said. Dolby Vision, obviously the best version of HDR, but honestly, since HDR10 is the free standard, it's improved faster, I think, than Dolby Vision has. So you have to pay a licensing fee there, and I guess not every TV supports it. I don't think a lot of people are going to be blown away by the difference, but I think it's cool it's finally making its way to games. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
If you have a, not to get back into the TV stuff, but if you have like a VA panel, like a Samsung or something, it's kind of a moot point because they get a little bit brighter, so you don't really need all of that shit. Still though, for Dolby Vision to have this dynamic tone mapping for games, I still think it's a pretty big deal. Especially if you don't have a high nit TV, you're gonna get you're just gonna get a better experience, man.
Better good. And I think that will lower the overall brightness for the lower scenes to basically compensate for the brightest peaks in the brighter scenes.
That's correct.
Yes. So the metadata in Dolby Vision is dynamic, so they can change brightness based on scene by scene, where HDR has a ceiling and it's there, and every scene goes off that ceiling. So again, everybody. Point is, Yamaha makes some pretty good blenders.
Yeah.
Also guitars apparently. So just something to keep your eye out for. Shout out to over 1,500 still listening to us talk about this shit for some reason. If you haven't, hit the like button. We do appreciate it. Retweet it, tell a buddy or two. And, of course, again, it's more of a mature podcast for the elderly out there. Shout out to y'all, my 65 and over crowd. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
And those are the chat. Seriously, all the channel members, patrons, for doing what you do. I'm going to have some videos out this upcoming week. If you checked my last video, I spilled some water on my pewter last time, so I lucked out there big. Santa Claus rescued me. And we're going to do some shout outs.
A big bucket of rice, right?
Big old bucket of liquid rice.
Did you get the second PC in yet?
Yes, I did.
Oh, shit.
It's got a 3700X in it. I just needed something that would just bear the load there if something ever happened. So, yeah. And
making that cool.
You know what I'm saying? I had D-Batch build it.
Oh, it's not.
Want to talk some shit? But, yeah. Hey, Cold Eastwood, that's pretty much our topics for today. And tell people where they can find your blue and red face and stuff.
Yeah, my little.
What have you been playing? Where people find you, cultist?
I've been playing Resident Evil 8, which is so scary. I've been like yelling to myself, like no. But I'm totally hooked on Mass Effect 1. I've got 40 plus hours into the game, and I am on like the last couple big missions. So. That is a crazy time sink. I'm just glad that game's just amazing. So, yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I'll be on YouTube and Twitter at Cold Eastwood.
Also, we got D-Batch. Tell people where they can find you and what have you been playing, bud?
I can find me on Twitter, D_Batch. Watch out for my tweets for the latest drops in PCware, consoles, whatever. I've been dropping it out there. You guys can also find me on YouTube at D-Batch, and I will be putting up some videos. Don't worry, guys. I am not forsaking you guys. I am playing Resident Evil. Like I was telling you guys on the pre-show, I just fell in love with that game. It brought me back to my childhood of playing all those Capcom games. I think it's a masterpiece. I don't care what anybody says. I'm really enjoying that game, and it's bringing the family together. We're all sitting down and playing that game. After tonight's podcast, we're gonna play it till like probably 1 o'clock in the morning in pure darkness, and it's a fantastic game. If you're on the fence on that game, get that game. It is fantastic. Yes. It was a great show. Good seeing you guys this week, and see you guys next week.
Of course. Ataru, by the way, X1. FPS boost, yes, you should have more options there. I don't think you should be forced into a 120 mode if you don't want it. You should have the option to run maybe the higher fidelity version at 60 instead. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a really good example. The games that come default with FPS boost on, I don't think affect the X patch, if I'm not mistaken. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider, that game is like 4K 60 basically on the Series X right now with FPS boost, and it looks really good. I was playing that yesterday. So you want to talk shit? Speaking of talking shit, Dark CMF says he legit plays Microsoft Sudoku. And he plays on his Galaxy S tab while he's falling asleep. Free gamer score. Shout out to you, brother. We've also got Lord Starkiller says dealer. Feedback on Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8. This game looks gorgeous. The ray tracing isn't quite what I would classify as ray tracing. Unless the main character's a vampire, you can't see him in mirrors. But other than that, it looks gorgeous. It runs pretty damn good. And I'm having a good time with it. I actually got to a good spot past this point in the footage where that giant chick with size 37 shoes is chasing me around. I think I'm about to fight her. So, again, thank you. And then Dave Incubus, shout out to you, longtime member. Cyberpunk, keyboard and mouse, support Xbox. How do, please help. Let me make sure I read that right. Cyberpunk, keyboard and mouse, Xbox, period. How do, ? Please help. I have no idea, Dave. Colt, how do?
Plug a keyboard in, plug a mouse in, and see if it works.
Is that what he means to use it on console?
Is that an option?
I mean,
You're
you
a paid
can
shield.
use.
Tell the people.
Oh, thank you. No, you can use those USB adapter things, but just buy Cyberpunk on PC. Better there anyway.
Don't do that. Wait for the Series X patch, okay? I'm an actual
wanna talk some
Xbox
shit?
fan. You want to talk some shit? Wait for the Cyberpunk patch on PC.
Call me,
bitch. Oh god, it's so funny. But yeah, I mean, seriously, yeah, Dave. Hopefully you figured it out, brother. I'm not really sure. What I'm gonna do for you though is I'm going to put this up for you. I'm gonna pin it. It's a yellow Hulk Hogan RDX shirt. Okay, and if you want to check that out, that might solve all your problems. Plus world hunger. If you check that out, and it's weird. If you want to be Hulk Hogan, you can wear that yellow shirt up there. I pinned it in the chat. Let me know if you're Hulk Hogan after the show. Hey, we've also got Fonzarelli, brother. How you been? Where you been playing, and where can people find you?
Hey, they can find me at Fonzarelli Gaming here on YouTube. Been creating videos every week for the past, 3 months. It's been really good. I've been really consistent with that. And I also have my show on Sundays right after the Iron Lords podcast at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I do the Games Talk Live, go 1 hour with a special guest every week. And I have some awesome lined up. The next month and a half, I have some spectacular guests. I really do. I'm really excited about the show, really excited about my guests, and hopefully you guys can join me on that channel, Fonzarelli Gaming, and yeah, check it out. It's a live show I do, and we talk games and industry and just have some fun.
Yeah, you get to see Fonzarelli's little face, his little mustache.
Actually, no, I shave.
What?
Well,
maybe I drew a mustache on the screen.
I shave, man. I always shave.
Taylor gets out.
Every time I think of Fonz, I know
man, you just want me to have a mustache, man.
I didn't even say that. That's weird.
I know you, bro.
No, okay. First and foremost, I know you shaved because I saw your show. Okay. Secondly, even though there wasn't a ton of lighting last time I saw it, I still saw it. Okay, I know there is now. You've upgraded, which is awesome. But I still think of that picture where you had that Project Scorpio shirt on, and you're like, "Hey," and you're sitting next to some monkey bars.
You want to talk some shit?
Hey, Tim Dog's gone. Hey, Zalker, brother, what have you been playing and where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and YouTube and apparently on Sea of Thieves. For the first time on Friday when I played with my buddies, somebody actually knew who I was, and they proceeded to make an alliance with almost everybody on the server and tried attacking me and my crew.
They found out you didn't beat Arkham Knight yet.
I didn't even know because I don't have in-game chat on, but apparently they were yelling my name, and the guy reached out to me on Xbox, saw his message, and I was like, is this the guy that we were fighting? And then I talked to him in Discord, and he was like, yeah, I recognize you, and I told my crew like that you do YouTube, and he goes, then I told another crew, and they're like, oh, he's probably streaming, let's go kill him, which I don't. So for 3.5 hours, me and my crew were getting relentlessly attacked on Sea of Thieves by like 8 people, and so like 2 ships or 3 ships, and it was some of the most fun I've had in a long time. His buddy thought I was hacking because I was headshotting them. And, we talked for like 20 minutes on Discord about it, and it was really cool. Oh, dude, my pistol shit is insane. But, it was fun. I had a good time. I didn't know they were doing that until the next day. And so, yeah, if you see me on the seas, come at us and you'll get fucked up like they do.
Zalker goes out of his way to attack. It could be like a grandma, first Xbox game ever. Oh, it looks so cool. You get all the shit stolen. Fucking Zalker's flying through on the rope and the boat's on fire. He steals her money. Like, Zalker purposely will just chase you down and try to attack you.
No, that's the funny thing is me and my
true.
buddies, we go after everybody, and then we're like, yo, I kind of feel like we're getting attacked. And I'm like, dude, they're stalking us. Because like, we're like, why? And I was like, is this how it feels? And my buddy's like, yeah, man, this is,
that's karma.
I don't know what's going on. And my buddy got annoyed. He was like, why do they keep coming back? And I'm like, I have no idea. And it's because of me.
Persistent shit.
Yeah,
Now
no,
you
dude,
know
they
how it
were. And they were
feels.
good, too. They weren't shit players. So it was a lot of fun, man. We had a great time. But no, that's where you can find me. And yeah, I enjoyed the content today. It was great. A lot of good topics. Chat was awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you got a word in there after I took a breath for half a second. And yeah. And shout out to Zuglug.
Zuglug. You thought you'd kill me when my head rolled down the hill, huh?
Yep.
Reminds me of Ghost of Tsushima, but with a hat.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks for watching the show, guys. You can follow me here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button, the bell icon. I don't know what. That's a weird looking bell. I never see bells like that anymore. Also, Twitter at @dealer_gaming, _dealer _II on Xbox Live, where I am playing a lot of different crap. I'm going to work my way all the way through Resident Evil and continue running from this lady until I have no choice but to kill her. No spoilers, but you're going to hear her walking around, and you can look through a doorway as long as that one giant guy's in the bathroom with you. She can't see you, which is cool. So just know that he's the safe spot. And I run to him screaming sometimes. So it's a fun game.
You know how many times I went through a door and she's like just coming through, like, ah!
Yeah, but she takes 1,000 years to wind up, at least on normal difficulty. So you just run around, Jerry Rice, whoop, just roll around her, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a fun game. Lethal's been playing that Monster Truck Champions. He's like, wow, I'm starting to really like this game.
He's such a fraud.
Yep,
He is.
he is.
I got at a party with him. Like, what are you playing? He's all.
He's like, I just did a triple backflip off 6 cars.
He's like, this game's actually pretty good, man. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, you fraud. He's like, I am.
Yep. Meanwhile, on Xbox, right? And then Mortal Kombat 11 today, Mass Effect. I'm going to start that after Resident Evil 8. I played about an hour of that. And again, shout out to the patrons, the channel members, all of you guys. That's just one shirt. The whole, it's obviously a joke, but I got a ton of shirts. Check out the store. Let's link down below. It's also in the chat. I'm a paid shield. And also
Get a shirt.
Yeah, get a shirt. And then check out
Shout out
Fonz's
Mike.
stream. Check out Zalker. Check out D. Check out Colt. Support these guys. I think they're some of the best in the community. And, you know, it's filled with a community full of awesome content creators. So, again, thank you for what you do. We're out.
Later, everybody.
I don't actually like turtles.
I do.
Luzgog.